Alright guys, I'm going to try to finish this package tray up tonight. What I've done is I took my grills, and on this one I've got the line going up and down. I don't know if you can see that. So on these, it didn't matter how I covered them, but whenever I can turn these any direction I want. So what I did is I kept the line going straight up and down as well, try to match this one. So then what I did is I marked my hole after I soldered and heat shrinked my plugs on and glued them in a recessed spot right there. I slid a V in there and glued my cables down. And then now I've got that hole right there where I can wire these in from the bottom side after I get it mounted. This is that CA glue that I used. I had a thicker one. I used it all while gluing in these LEDs and things into the back. So I'm down to the medium one and the thin one. So what you do on this CA glue, I don't even know how to pronounce it. They call it CA glue because it's a name about as long as my arm. But anyway, but there it is. Alright, so what you do, that's basically super glue that is not activated. Well, I say that, it is activated to your skin, so try to wear gloves. But this is the activator, so you just put this on there. You can hold your item down, and then it won't really cure good until you spray it with the activator. And if you do mess up, they do have this solvent that you can release it with off of your fingers or whatever. So all that. So now I've got my holes. This is all ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is, I'll show you if I can get these off. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this in the car, and I'm going to figure out exactly where these rings are at, and I'm going to cut the car out for those rings. I'll slide over here. My shop's a huge mess. Oop, I cannot wait to get my shop cleaned back up. Cutting this wood has destroyed my shop. Okay, so what I'm going to do, see, that does not line up. I don't know if you can see that on here. But I'm going to have to cut around here to get that to clear, because that is a 6x9 hole, and this is a 6.5 speaker. But I have these rings on the back that are actually about 8 inches in diameter outside. So I'll get back with you after I cut that out. I've got it fitted in there. I've got it cut out where I can run my wires through and everything. Fits real tight. Anytime that you cut near glass, you're not going to want to throw sparks. The sparks are hot. They will actually etch into the glass, and you will leave metal particles embedded into the glass. If it gets wet, it could start rusting. If not, even if it doesn't get wet, it's still a pain. It'll mess up window tint. It's terrible. So I used this body saw. I actually broke the blade off doing this, but it's just a air body saw. It does real good on sheet metal like this. I'm tracing around it so I know where to put my glue. Traced here. Traced all this already. And this is black material. It's not going to matter that this permanent marker is now written on the back side. It won't show because it's black and it's thick. So be careful of that, because you don't want your black mark to show on the front side. Leave you a little bit of overhang to wrap over the edge. Alright, and I'm going to cut these out after I put my glue down and get everything stuck. So now we'll flip this over. I'm gonna have to open my can and use my chip brush and just, this is contact cement, so it has to go on both sides. So I'll do this one and I'll do this one and I'll be good. And I'm gonna stick it down. This contact cement, you have to let it sit for a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. I've got my ceiling fans on, they're making me feel good in here. So that's gonna make it dry a little bit quicker. It keeps the air circulating and keeps all the chemicals evaporating off. So I'm probably just gonna let it sit about 2 or 3 minutes and start sticking it, and we'll go from there. You just don't want it to be wet feeling, is what it is. So get all that trash off. Alright, I'm gonna get to gluing. So we're basically just taking the yellow snot and we are just smoothing it out. Just working pretty quick here. Making a mess. Doing what I do best here. According to my wife anyway. I think I do a good job. But let's see. Let's see what it looks like when I get done. Yeah, alright. I've already covered this. Alright, and this fan is making this stuff dry super quick. I'm going to go ahead and just do this area, and then I'll flip it over, and I will lay it back, and then do the other areas as I go. Probably stick this, and then do over to here, do that on both sides, and let that dry for a few minutes, and then stick it, and then do this big area here. I'm going to cover my stuff back up so it doesn't get all dry at the top. That fan blowing right on it. Alright, I'm going to get to flip it. I'll need both hands. I'll get back with you. Alright, I went ahead and flipped it, and now I'm pushing it down. This is a 4-way stretch vinyl material. It's supposed to look like leather. And what it is anti-slide. Forget how they call it. But it's a real tacky feeling. Maybe that's what it is, tack. TAC, maybe. Brand is All Sport, but this is my first time trying it. But here's a sample piece. It'll stretch that way, and it'll stretch this way. So it'll go around all kinds of contour areas. See if I can. I'm not going to do this with one hand here. But it'll go in areas that regular vinyl may not go. So this is going to have to match the whole car, and I'm going to cover the dash in this stuff. So I went ahead and covering everything with this. And the trim panels, if you remember, it's perforated vinyl. So I think it'll make a good look. This is going to be hidden. I'm going to have to cut this out anyway. That's for the wires to go through. But you can use these rollers. Got a package of these things. But you can use this. Press it down good. I think I'm going to go ahead and roll this out like that, and then I'll get back with you. Alright, I got that all rolled. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that down to save my blanket that I've got to keep everything clean because my table's too dirty. And so what I'm going to do is use this razor. I'm going to cut close to the edge but not at the edge. And I'm going to try to cut a 45 off of those to make a 45 anyway. I'm going to do that on all 4 corners. Just a little ways. Alright. And this one. Alright. Now, I'm going to overlap this one. Probably not that far. And I'm also going to overlap this one. So what I need to do is come about maybe half of this over here. So we'll just guess, because I can trim it up later. Now I'm going to pull this up, overlap it. I can cut it right there after I glue it. No big deal. Do that all the way around. I'm going to put glue around the edge and hope that my speaker actually fits back in here. If not, then I'll be cutting that back off. But might go ahead and try that before I glue it. That way I'll know if I have to. Maybe I can trim this. Even though I've glued it, maybe I can sand that or something. So let me try that speaker real quick. I went ahead and cut this flush with this ring because the speaker actually will hide all of that edge. So I'm going to roll with that. And I've also cut these out. Alright, I'm waiting on this glue to tack up. It's still kind of wet. So once I can't feel it anymore, it feels kind of dry, that's when it'll be ready to stick. So in the meantime, I'm going to take a video. So these are not a bra. It's not a bra. Alright, what that is, it's going to go around the speaker. This will make the speaker sound better. Give it a nice, deep, rich tone instead of a hollow sound. So what we're going to do is put these, hold on a second. Alright, we're going to put those right there. And when we mount the speaker in, it's going to sandwich in there. I'll trim off what I don't need. And give us a nice rich tone. You can put these in your doors as well. And keep the speaker from getting wet, as well as make it act like a box. Make it sound real rich. Alright, here on the rounded parts, I have made several slits in this, so that I will be able to roll this over and the slits will allow it to flex a little bit. And I've not done too much, just around the edge and around this edge, because this glue takes a little while to dry, several minutes, as I've said, and I really don't want to overdo this and get in a bind and have to do with this whole area and not have time to get it right. So it's going to take longer to do it this way. Sit here and wait for this glue to dry, knowing that I've got to do it all over again right over here when I could have done it at once. But I'm hoping that this will give me a better outcome in the end. So keep that in mind as you're going. Don't rush through it. Alright guys, I've got this all covered, wrapped around, everything. I was trying to fit these speakers. These baffles, what I did is I put my speaker in. I trimmed around this thing. My shirt's hung. It's after midnight, and I'm just trying to get this done so that this project will be done. I can move on to the next thing. So I did not take this into account whenever I designed this. So what I did is hoped that this foam would squish down good and tight, and I cut around the edge here. I fit it in. It's in there and it is squished down tight. It doesn't fit perfect, but I think it's going to be okay. So this grill is going to go over it here. You can see the contrast between the two different vinyls. I think it's going to be real nice. If I can get this to sit down flush where I want it. So I'm going to keep messing with this, and I'll cut you back on in a minute. Alright, now what I've done is I have used my rings that you would normally throw away, and I flipped this upside down onto the ring to keep from crushing my grills when it's upside down. Did all of them that way. So you flip it over, protects the grills, and I'm able to put the screws in to hold the panels. Alright, the 3/4 inch long screws, they hold good and they don't poke through the other side. I've got my speakers wired in for the most part. LEDs are wired in for the most part. Everything is pretty well done with the package tray. I'm going to go ahead and clean this, and I will test the lights and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, Here is the nighttime view of what we've got on the package tray panel that I made. You can see the LED lights back in behind the grill. Edge lit with the Lexan. It's not perfect, but this is my first time doing this. Alright, with the lights on, you can see that it doesn't look bad. I kind of like it. What have I got in this? Maybe 35, 40 hours. And this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So, let's go the lights off here. I kind of like it. Handmade everything. It's got a little spot right here. Might try to work that out. I don't know what it is. A little piece of tape or something was on there. I don't know. It looks pretty good. I went ahead and test fitted it in the car and turned it on. So this is obviously daylight time. It's still pretty bright. I think it's gonna be awesome. Thank you for watching.